was just watching the video that Tyrese did about, having a blueprint to marriage, and how he was expressing that, how do you know how to be a wife if you haven't had the blueprint, or a husband how to be a husband if you haven't had the blueprint on how a marriage should be. And whoever posted the video, they put, is he tripping or is he on point? Or does he have a point? Tyrese has a valid point, because there is a lot of people out here that do not have a good example of a healthy marriage. And let's even go deeper. Not even a healthy marriage. They don't even have the blueprint to what it is to be in a healthy relationship. If you don't have a faith background, or at least have been introduced to the Word of God and understand the whole beginning of how man was made out of the image of God, and woman was created from the rib of man, and therefore woman was made for man, how can you even know what your purpose is? And he's right. Marriage is not just about receiving a ring. Anybody can receive a ring. Before I even started dating my husband, I used to have a ring on my wedding finger. And I felt like, having this ring on my finger, the men, they will see that she is wife material, or either they will leave me alone because they see that I have this ring on my finger. And I thought by putting that ring on my finger, it was letting me know that, one day I'm going to be a wife. And till somebody came and told me, take that ring off your finger. And I didn't understand it at the time, why they had told me to take the ring off, until, later on. The reason they were telling me to take the ring off my finger, because marriage is not just about a ring. It's not about a ring, period. A ring is just a material thing to let you know, hey, I'm making a promise to you that I want to make you my wife. And then when you get married, hey, let's keep this promise, the vows that we have spoken to each other, and this ring is a symbol of that promise that I'm making. But a ring can't stop you from cheating. And a ring can't make you become the person that somebody wants you to become. Communication establishes that. Prayer establishes that. Faith establishes that. Understanding your purpose and your value and your worth establishes who you are going to become. A ring doesn't establish anything. And he's right. He does have a point. If you've been in a household where you were raised by a single parent, and all you've seen is that parent dating, but you never seen a stable relationship between a man and a woman with communicating their goals, communicating how to functionally run a household, then how do you know how to be a wife or a husband when it comes time to get married? A lot of times marriages fail because, one, nobody sat down and discussed what they expected from the other one when they got married. Another reason why marriages fail is because they were started off with lust. I mean, if I see you walking down the street and you look good to me, you got everything that I want on the outside, but I'm not checking for the inside. And then we get married and, we ran off that physical stuff. And now that we are alone, there's no children, I'm forced to communicate with you. And then I realized that, shoot, the elevator don't go all the way to the top floor. I didn't marry the dummy. And I will become bored. What he said about being with that woman and that he was bored with her, because when he was going through the things that he was going through, he didn't feel the support that she should have given him, because she didn't know how to be supportive. And marriage cannot be successful if you don't have a partner that knows how to be supportive. You know, when I was going through the loss of my mother, me and my husband had just got married. And I never dealt with a close relative passing away. And if we did have somebody that passed away, our mom was always there. Our mom was our rock. But for my husband to step up the way that he did, and the pushing me and motivating me and encouraging me and letting me know that yes, because my mother has passed, I will always have that void, but I don't have to make that life, and I don't have to be sunk in depression. So if I was stranded on the island and I had the option of taking a thing or a person, I'm gonna rock with my husband, because he has encouraged me, empowered me, lifted me up when no other man that I have ever thought that I would marry has. In the two most significant relationships I had prior to being with my husband, those two men that I thought that I wanted to marry, thinking back about it now, would I want to take them on the island with me? No, never. Not even if they see me drowning in the water, Titanic style. Don't even save me. Let me go. Let me be Jack. Let me go. Because they didn't know how to be supportive. I was Jack and they was Rose. And they was, come back, Indigo, as they was prying my hand off of them and letting me drown. They didn't know how to be supportive because they came from households where they didn't see supportive relationships. So when we were in a relationship and I was asking for them, giving them my standards, it was foreign to them because they didn't understand it. I came from a two-parent household. Where I seen a mother and a father working to provide for their children and working on their marriage. They have their ups and downs, but you would never have known that they were going through the things that they were going through, because they provided so much love for me and my sisters that they made me want to become married and I wanted to become a wife because of the love and the passion that I seen between my parents, the communication that I seen as a child. Now, when I got older and me and my mom was able to talk more and I was able to understand more, I would never have known that there was times that we didn't even have money and my dad was out there doing what he had to do to provide for us. I would never have known that the lifestyle that we had was because our parents' deep faith in God and believing in God and praying for one another and praying at the church and having the church pray for them. I would never have known that because of the faith that they had in God is the reason that we were able to be the strong women, young women that our parents raised us to be. So Tyrese does have a point. He's not tripping, and I don't want to make it seem like because you was raised in a single parent home. My husband was raised in a single parent home, but because he was surrounded around friends that encouraged him and loved on him and spoke life into him, and his mother spoke life into him, his family spoke life into him, he was able not to be a statistic, but to turn around and to want to be a partner, want to communicate, want to work on our marriage, want us to be successful, want us to have the same goals, so that way we don't end up as a statistic and we are able to raise our children on a strong foundation of love and faith in God and trust and communication in our relationship. Nothing is worse than being with a person. They're beautiful on the outside, but they're straight trash in the inside. So when you start to date or when you start to get in a relationship with somebody, first you need to understand who you are as a person. You need to understand your value and your worth. And you need to know what you are willing to put in that relationship and what you're willing to get out of that relationship. And then when you get into that relationship, if you feel like you're not getting the things that you need to become the successful you and be uplifted, and they're not adding value to who you are as a person, then it's time to get the scissors out and cut it. Ain't no love that deep for you to be staying in no failed relationship and trying to push it to marriage because you want a ring. You can buy yourself a ring. You can put it on layaway. You can put it on your finger. I'm sorry, but he has a valid reason. If you don't understand the reason of why you want to become a wife, then you don't need to be married. Because just taking somebody's last name, you can go to the Social Security office and change your last name to whatever you want it to be. You need to understand before you get married, why do I want to be a husband? What can I bring to this woman as her husband? And as a wife, why do I want to get married? What is it that is going to change once I become married? How are we going to be an effective team where we can stay successful and be healthy in our relationship? And not on some fairy tale type stuff like we getting married forever and that's it. That is a wonderful goal. But how are you going to achieve that goal? Because when you get married, it's real. And it ain't all love all the time, because sometimes it's going to be like he gets on my nerves and she gets on my nerves. It's about communicating. It's about what is it that I want. Because you can do bad by yourself. So wrapping all this up, everybody wants Tyrese to be always Coca-Cola. He's not always Coca-Cola no more. He is a grown man that's letting you know, hey, I've had some failed relationships. I'm still trying. I believe in love, but I want to be with a person that has equal value to me, that's going to add value to me, and that knows their purpose, and that I can rock with. And it's not going to make me feel like I'm drowning by myself. So, y'all can take that. Y'all can run with it. But I don't think Tyrese is tripping. Marriage is a beautiful thing, but it's also work. So you got to be realistic about it. And don't be getting married for the children. Oh, I got her pregnant, or I'm pregnant, we got to get married. First of all, there's a lot of strong people out here that are raising their children on their own and are still getting married to men that want to have a family and seeing the value in that woman, even though she has a child, and is stepping up to the plate to be the father of that child. So don't think because you are single out here with a child that you'll never get married, or because you have a child you'll never get married. That's a lie. Keep putting your faith in God. Keep trusting in God. Keep believing that God is going to work things out and bring you the person that he has created for you, because he has somebody for you. It may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, but you continue to put your faith in God. You continue to trust him. You can continue to praise him for his words coming true to you, and he's going to work it out. Stop letting doubt that you will never get married, or because you don't know how to be something, stop you from achieving what it is that God has for you. You just have to put in the work. Just like when you go to school, you studying to get that degree. That's the same thing with marriage. You want to be married? Understand what marriage is all about. You're not going to get everything just from a book. Of course, you're going to have to go through it, but you got to be willing to compromise. You got to be willing to communicate, and you got to be willing to change for the betterment. So that's all I got to say. Tyrese is not tripping, and love y'all guys. This is Indigo. Remember, value the wait.